Hi again. So in this video we are going to discuss the tip number 11 in which we are going to discuss a very easier method for solving a circuit by using the mesh current methods. Okay, so suppose you have a circuit here. Let me have a same circuit here. These are the resistors which are in the circuit. So that is the voltage source. Let me have it 50 volts. This is 2. This is let me have it 4 ohm. This is, let me have it 6 ohm. Again this is 2 ohm, and this is, let me have it 10 ohm. Okay, so by solving any circuit by using the mesh current method, what are the steps? So in first step you have to identify the number of closed paths, loops or meshes in a circuit. So here we have 3 meshes. This is mesh number 1, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, after identifying the meshes, what you have to do, you have to suppose the currents. Let me call it I1 in the mesh number 1. In mesh number 2 I have I2 current, and in mesh number 3 I have I3 current, which is denoted by this green color. Okay, after it, what we have to do, we have to write the equations. I have to select each of the mesh here, and after selecting the mesh I have to apply KVL in each mesh. Okay, after applying the KVL in each mesh here and then simplifying the equations, it will be somehow harder for us to find all the equations, and at the end we have to solve the equations as well by using whatever method you are going to use. By using the matrices or any other method. So it will be harder, take so much time for constructing the equations and then solving those equations. Instead of that, I can use another method here which I am going to describe here. So what is that method? So in order to apply or construct the equation for mesh number 1, let me have mesh number 1. So I'm not applying the KVL here. Actually at the back end I am basically applying the KVL, but in order to simplify the method, first of all you have to, in which mesh you are, you have to sum all the resistances, the values of all the resistances there, and multiply that with the current here. Okay, so what are the resistors here in mesh number 1? Those are 2 and 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6, and what is the current in that mesh? I have I1. Okay, so you have to use 6 I1 here. Similarly you have here mesh number 2, and which resistor is shared between the mesh number 1 and mesh number 2? That is the 4, and you just have to write the negative sign with that resistor which is shared between the two meshes, and then write the current which is in the mesh which is shared with the resistor here, okay, with which the resistor is shared. Similarly in mesh number 3 it is again sharing another resistor here, and that is the 2. Again I have to write a negative sign with the shared resistor here, and after writing the negative sign here I have to write the value of the current which is in the mesh, and that would be I3. And here, as I have the voltage source here as well, so plus 50 volts, because it is entering through minus and leaving through positive, so that is the voltage rise, and it will be at the other end. Okay, similarly in using the mesh current method in mesh number 2 here, let me use the same procedure. So here, what is the mesh here? This is mesh number 2, and adding all the resistors in mesh number 2 here, I have to add 6 and 4 and 2. So what will happen here? I will have 6 plus 4 plus 2, that is the 12, and which mesh is it? This is the second mesh, so I have to write the current I2. Okay, so that is the 12 I2. Similarly, which resistor it is sharing with the other meshes? So the resistor 4, it is sharing with the mesh number 1, so therefore I have to write the negative sign with 4. And in which mesh it is in first mesh, so that would be minus 4I1, and only the positive sign which will be with the current in which mesh you are in. Okay, so that is minus 4I1 plus 12I2. And another resistor which is it sharing is this 2 ohm, which is shared between the second mesh and the third mesh. So similar conditions will be applied here, and minus 2I3 will be here, as there is no voltage source here, so I will write 0 here. Similarly, in mesh number 3, what will happen? You can again see here that in mesh number 3 I have 3 resistors which are 2, 2 and 10, so adding them together I will have 14I3, and it will always be positive. Okay, so similarly this is sharing this 2 with the mesh number 1, so I will write minus 2I1. Okay, similarly this 2 is shared between the mesh number 3 and mesh number 2, so that would be minus 2I2. Okay, and as there is no voltage source here, so I will write here 0. Okay, so this is the system of equations in which I have 3 equations. Let me call it equation number 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So whatever method you like, you can solve these 3 equations with 3 unknowns, which are I1, I2 and I3. So that is the method which will make your life easier, and this is tip number 11. I hope you will find it useful. Thank you so much.